Good morning from the heart of New York City. This is Food School Smarter, Stronger, Leaner podcast dedicated to one thing: to learn and apply to eat better daily. I'm your host, Angela Shurina from CreateYourself.today, your personal nutritionist, your personal health and wellness coach, your personal fat loss guru, and just someone with a lot of passion for healthy eating, everything and anything we put on our plate to feel better, look better, and perform better on all levels. And that happens when we know why and what we put on our plate, and what we should be putting on our plate, and what we should be avoiding at all cost. Not everything that can be eaten should be eaten. That's, I guess, the main takeaway that I want you to always remember every single day. Not everything that can be eaten should be eaten. And your nutrition, the food you eat, also should serve a certain purpose. So today, guys, we are talking about the book that I'm really fascinated with. The book's called BADDITIVES, the 13 most harmful food additives in your diet land and how to avoid them. You know, if I wasn't passionate enough about healthy eating and checking the ingredient list on all my foods and educating people about reading the ingredient list and understanding what's on that ingredients list and what's supposed to be there, what's not supposed to be there, and what you should be putting in your body, especially on a regular basis, and when you shouldn't be putting. After reading this book, I got really double passionate about reading ingredient list and avoiding as much as possible processed foods that were not created by nature, were not grown, were not fished or hunted. This book about additives that food industry tried to add to our food supply at some point, or still adding to our food supply, that really opened my eyes to the fact that food industry first adds things to our foods that do not kill us right away, but can potentially harm us. Food industry puts and adds things to our food supply without doing much research, really. Things that belong to, factory producing cars and equipment parts, not food supply. Like, you can find aluminium or petroleum inside of some of the dyes, for example, that are still added to our drinks or some foods or even vitamins sometimes. So what I'm trying to say is our food supply, our processed food supply, our food industry is far from being a health industry, and there are things in our food supply that can really cause premature death, and it's not joke, and nobody checks everything that is added to food. In fact, a lot of things, especially a lot of new ingredients, producers of our food supplies, they don't even have to put all the ingredient information on the food label. That's how bad it is. Like, you can be eating something that causes allergies and low energy and fatigue and indigestion, and you'll be thinking that something is wrong with you, whereas you might be just eating something that is not even on the label of the foods you are eating. But today, guys, we are gonna talk especially about three particular things that a lot of you might be consuming on a regular basis, because those foods are still added to a lot of foods, even though there is more than substantial evidence that these foods are harmful. So let's dig in. First one is carrageenan or carrageenan. It's a kind of seaweed, red seaweed, that is proven to cause a lot of gut issues, a lot of gut problems. And carrageenan is used in a wide variety of processed foods and beverages, ranging from coconut water, low-fat dairy products, and dairy substitutes to nutrition bars, deli meats, and pre-cooked chicken. It serves as a thickening agent, giving food a nice texture and fatty mouthfeel. The tasteless, non-nutritive seaweed derivative has long been shown to cause harmful gastrointestinal inflammation and intestinal lesions. It also been replaced with safer ingredients that serve similar purposes, such as guar gum. I think that's how you pronounce it. I'm going to read you an extract from book Bad Additives. Could it be, however, that many of these maladies are the results, and by maladies I mean here a variety of problems ranging from bloating and discomfort to serious conditions such as irritable bowel syndrome and ulcerative colitis. So could it be that many of these maladies are the result of a single badditive or additive, food additive, one that's long been considered so safe by virtue of being natural, quote unquote, that is even allowed in organic foods despite a growing body of scientific evidence that it's anything but? The answer is resulting yes. If you're among those who suffer from chronic stomach issues, it's quite possible they might be alleviated simply by removing from your diet any processed foods that contain the ingredient carrageenan, as has been attested to by some of those who have done just that. Again, if you're drinking a lot of dairy substitutes like coconut or almond milk or other milks, if you're consuming non-dairy yogurt, a lot of lower quality products and companies who do not care about the quality of their product that much and of the health of their customer would add carrageenan as a thickening agent. Like, for example, one of my friends recently posted on their stories that they went to Starbucks and checked their coconut milk that they add to their drinks. If you ask for coconut milk, and that coconut milk did contain carrageenan that causes all this gastrointestinal inflammation, intestinal lesions, and bloating, and even again irritable bowel syndrome and ulcerative colitis. So carrageenan, you don't want to be eating that in your food. So check the labels of, again, especially non-dairy alternatives, but also nutrition bars, deli meats. Always read ingredient list. The second thing that I want to mention today is aspartame and artificial sweeteners. A lot of you guys are using aspartame and artificial sweeteners as a way to control weight and not to gain weight. A growing body of scientific evidence has indicated that consumption of artificial sweeteners such as aspartame as a way of controlling weight may actually be counterproductive. In 2014, an Israeli study points to artificial sweeteners as likely culprits in the development of obesity-related metabolic conditions such as type 2 diabetes by interfering with our internal ecosystem of gut bacteria, which is an essential part of the body's mechanism for regulating blood sugar. The study found that the three most widely used non-caloric synthetic sweeteners, saccharine, suclarose, and aspartame, actually raised blood sugar levels in mice by creating increased glucose intolerance. No such effect was observed in mice either drinking water by itself or water with plain sugar added to it, whether fed normal, chow, or high-fat diet. So basically, you might be better drinking water with added sugar to it than your artificial sweeteners, because even though those artificial sweeteners do not have calories, they raise your blood sugar, they make you they create glucose intolerance, and that probably leads to conditions like type 2 diabetes and other obesity-related metabolic conditions. So calories, guys, are not everything, and what can contribute to obesity, to your fat gain, to cravings, all of that can be done without any calories, just by the nature of the additive itself, in this case by aspartame, suclarose, and other synthetic or artificial sweeteners. The only sweetener I personally use and approve is stevia, and I'm actually going to read the book this week that I'm going to share with you the information about. The book is about stevia and the history of this all natural sweetener that is a powder made of leaves of a plant. So it's all natural, nothing added, but some brands of course manage to mix good quality natural non-caloric sweetener stevia with some other bullshit to make it cheaper. So be aware that not everything that says stevia on it is healthy and 100% stevia. So anyway, aspartame, sucralose, other sweeteners, don't consume them in your diet. They do not help you with weight loss, even though they don't have calories. And calories, guys, by the way, are not everything when it comes to healthy metabolism and weight loss. And probably the last thing I want to talk to you about is artificial colors, because a lot of products, even healthy products like vitamins, can contain of low quality, of course, can contain artificial colorings that are really harmful, and more studies coming out about the negative health effects of different dyes and artificial colors. Some of them already are prohibited to use in food supply, but some are not, because there just haven't been enough studies to prove their negative effects. But if there were, not enough studies yet, it doesn't mean that certain food additives and artificial colors are actually harmless or good for you. Let me read you a little bit of history of artificial colors prohibition. Red dye number 2, considered to be questionable safety for more than 2 decades, it was finally banned by FDA in 1976 after being linked to statistically significant rise in cancer among laboratory animals. Violet number 1, once used not only in cakes, candies, drink powders, and soda, but also in USDA's purple meat stamp. It was also banned the same year, 14 years after a Canadian study found, 14 years, guys, a Canadian study found half the rats that ingested it developed cancerous growth. Red dye number 3, despite having been prohibited from cosmetics and externally applied drugs over a quarter century ago, following concerns about its being associated with thyroid cancer in rats, oddly enough, it is still allowed to be used in food items ranging from maraschino cherries and the cherries in fruit cocktails to sausage casings. Can you imagine that? So the food, the dye, red dye number 3, is prohibited from using external usage in cosmetics because of its possible relation to cancer, but it's not prohibited to be used in food supply. That just really blows my mind. Another thing, back in 2007, a randomized, double-blind, placebo-controlled British study published in the medical journal found that artificial food dyes not only increased hyperactivity in children with ADHD, but in general population and across the range of severities of hyperactivity. Also, the results of some study of some studies of food dyes, the results were alarming. The rats became hyperactive and showed diminished learning ability. According to some doctors, I'm not going to bother you with names, who led the experiment, whereas animals not exposed to any colors took about 9 seconds to escape the maze, it took over twice as long, 23 seconds, for the animals exposed to the lower artificial color doses to escape the maze. So artificial colors not only can cause cancer, but also can make you stupid, hyperactive, and maybe that is why, people lose focus these days so easily. Not only because of all the social media distraction and our phone being with us all the time, but also it's all the shit that is added in our food supply these days that can cause all of it. They change the biochemistry of our brain, of our body, and easily contribute to our hyperactive, disoriented, unfocused habits in our society. So aspartame, artificial sweeteners, carrageenan, dyes, all kinds of artificial colors. Guys, read the ingredient lists. To recap, so we talk about aspartame, suclarose, and other artificial sweeteners, how they can actually contribute to weight gain by making you more insulin, glucose intolerant, promoting conditions like type 2 diabetes, messing up with your gut flora. Then we talked about carrageenan, that is a kind of seaweed that can create conditions like irritable bowel syndrome or different ulcers, indigestion, gas, bloating, and it's added to all kinds of non-dairy products as a thickening agent, and it creates more of like fatty mouthfeel without having fat in the product. So be aware if you use any low-fat products also. Then dyes and artificial colors. You don't want to be consuming, a lot of those drinks that contain artificial colors, and on top of them artificial sweeteners. So you're not only gonna be much more likely to get cancer, but also you are more likely to get fat. So guys, your first line of defense is to read the ingredient list and only consume things that you understand and that are created by Mother Nature, because people, as it turns out, are not that great at creating anything harmless and good for us. As sad as it may sound, we're still way we're still far along from the point where we humans can create products that are actually good for us and healthy. If you have any questions, I'm going to post the link to the book in the show notes, of course. If you have any questions about harmful additives that can be added to your food and are added to your food, shoot me email to Angela@createyoursalad.today if you have concerns about certain ingredients. If you need a nutrition meal plan that will promote your health instead of causing health problems, that will help you to lose weight, to feel more energetic, to have better fitness and health, always shoot me email to Angela@createyoursalad.today with any of the questions you might have on your mind. And till next time, guys, just eat healthy and read ingredient list before putting anything in your mouth. And if you're eating out, also make sure that you know exactly what goes into your food. So have an amazing weekend. It's Saturday, and eat better daily.